Blue Spectacles beer review is going to be tasting Newcastle Brown Ale. Label's coming off a little bit. I've reviewed this before. I'm just revisiting it. This beer gets a 76 on Briavka. The Bros give it a 67. That's the okay to pour range. And it is 4.7 alcohol by volume. This is, it's basically, it's Caledonian Brewery, but Heineken owns Caledonian. It's a British brown ale, and this is basically like the main, when you think Newcastle, you think this beer. And I've had this many times, and personally, I like it. The only drawback would be this clear bottle, which does let in light, which can spoil the beer and make it skunky, which I have had that happen before in these clear bottles. But most of the time I've had it, it's been fine with the clear bottle. I bought this in a 12-pack of beers that had this, and then two new beers of the Newcastle brand. One of them is the British Session IPA, and the other is the British Pale Ale. Both of them, I think, the Pale Ale I think I liked better, but now that I think about it, but both were decent. But I know that this is good. But I've looked back on some of my reviews when I first started doing beer reviews 2 years ago, and I'm thinking that I want to revisit a few different beers, and this is one of them. So, having had it many times, let's go ahead and try it. Look at that smoke. It does smell a little skunky, I will say that, but just because it smells skunky doesn't mean it is, because I've had a lot of beers that smell skunky, but they really aren't. Okay. That's less than a finger. I could have poured it more aggressively, but that's less than a finger of light caramel colored head. The body is clear with a good amount of bubbles, not in any line, just kind of everywhere. And the color is, of course, like a amber, ruby amber kind of color. It smells like roasted barley malt. It's like brown bread, you know. That classic Newcastle brown ale kind of smell. I will say off the bat that I do like this beer. I already know that, so I do like that smell, the roastiness and the brown breadiness. I do like that smell. So let's go ahead and try this. Doesn't taste skunky, so we're good there. Maybe a little bit, but it's not really enough to matter. Similar things, similar roasted barley malts, brown bread, and that's basically the essence of a brown ale, or a British brown ale. Anyway, another great brown ale is Samuel Smith's Nut Brown Ale, that's an A+, 10 out of 10. That's just a great beer right there. That's basically the essence of this. The roasted barley malts and the brown breadiness. That's the essence of this. Mouthfeel is dry, really light. Probably not as light as like Bud Light, but it's light, like probably the lightest brown ale you'll find. It is drinkable, and it is refreshing. It's very nice. I would say for this, you're on like the B plus A minus fence, or at least I am. I guess for me, since I have drank it quite a bit and I do really like it, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a minus. I think it is excellent. Um, the fact that this bottle is clear and you will have skunking issues, that does detract from its rating. Um, I'm not sure if it's sold in cans, but if it is, that is an A beer. Um, other than that, you could have some, more of the current flavors, more of that, or possibly another flavor, so then you could have more, so maybe something a little extra, but for a brown ale. But for what, in my opinion, I think it is excellent. It is delicious. I think I would, and I have drank this quite a bit, and I think it is worth trying at least. And I think I've seen a large. I'm not sure if it's 20 ounce bottle, but it's a larger bomber bottle. I think I've seen that for around $3, which, in my opinion, is a good value. If as long as it's not very skunked, because that's a huge problem. But either way, the 12 pack, which has this in the British Session IPA and the British Pale Ale, I forget what I paid for that, but either way, I think that's a great deal in itself. Other than that, getting this in any form, I think it is worth your money and your time and your palate to try it at least. There are differing opinions about this beer, but in my opinion, it's a definite A minus at least.